Lord Daigo Kagemitsu is heading to the Hall of Hell, a demon temple, in hopes of striking a bargain with the demons. He pleads with them to bring prosperity to his land in exchange for anything they desire. The demons accept his offer, and his first child is born without limbs, eyes, nose, ears, and skin. Seeing this, Daigo orders the midwife to kill this accursed child. She, however, sets the baby adrift on a boat, leaving rest up to fate. 16 years later, that very child has grown into a young man. He hunts demons with the help of prosthetic limbs created by Dr. Jukai, meant to complete all that was taken from him. During his journey, the young man encounters Dororo, a young thief being beaten by men he had cheated. Suddenly, a demon attacks and eats those men. The young man unleashes his concealed blades and defeats the creature. As the demon statue in the Hall of Hell splits in two, the youth's missing skin reappears. This reveals that as the young man defeats all those demons who possess a part of his body, those limbs will return. Meanwhile, Daigo's second son, Tahomaru, returns from his hunting expedition, but his excitement fades when he sees his mother's sad state. She, Daigo's wife Nuinokata, still grieves for her lost child. Dororo and the young man, who possesses a unique ability to sense people's souls, arrive at a village. It seems to be terrorized by a monster. However, they discover the village chief, Bandai, is the true demon. She consumes such travelers with the help of her villagers. There they encounter Biwamaru, a wandering monk who can also detect souls. The trio band together and successfully slay the demon. However, a monster appears, revealing itself as the spirit of the first traveler killed by the villagers. But it disappears, leaving behind money. The young man then reveals his name as Hyakamaru. He regains his central nervous system as Bandai's statue in the Hall of Hell is broken. Meanwhile, Kagemitsu Daigo receives news that the Sakai clan is preparing for war, meaning that as the statues break, their magic too disappears one by one. We get a glimpse about Dr. Jukai's past. He was once a soldier who took countless lives, but now he spends his days helping people by making wooden prosthetics. One day, as he's laying by the river, he finds the boat in which a limbless child lays. Seeing this, Jukai is moved to tears and he decides to raise the kid and names him Hyakamaru. But as Hyakamaru grows older, his instinctive skills start to appear, and so do the demons that are attracted to his aura. Jukai decides to train Hyakamaru in the skills that he knew as a soldier and sets him on a journey. Getting back to their journey, the duo meet a girl named Osushi. She tells how her brother, Tanosuke, went off to war 5 years ago. Osushi still prays for his safe return. During their conversation, Hyakamaru senses the presence of the demon sword Nihiru. He fights its wielder, who falls down a cliff. The sword gets stuck in Hyakamaru's prosthetic leg and flies off into the distance. The wielder is Osushi's brother, who had acquired the sword through his service to a lord. It had turned him into a killing machine. Dororo retrieves Hyakamaru's prosthetic. As he grabs the sword from it, Dororo is drawn towards Tanosuke. Hyakamaru manages to knock the sword out of Dororo's hands, but Tanosuke grabs it and the two engage in a fierce battle. Hyakamaru emerges victorious and cuts the sword in two, regaining his hearing. Now that his ears are back, Hyakamaru is struggling to adjust to sounds, when suddenly he is attacked by a giant monster. Luckily, the monk from before comes to his rescue. He also warns Dororo of an impending war. While in the forest, Hyakamaru hears a beautiful voice. He follows the sound and discovers a young woman named Mio. She takes the duo and the monk to a nearby shrine where she cares for children who were orphaned by a war between Daigo and Sakai. The monk finds a better place for everyone to live, but it's demon-infested. Hyakamaru bravely fights the demon and kills it, but he loses his real leg and screams in agony as his voice returns. That night, Mio leaves for her work and Dororo discovers her to be a prostitute. The monk accompanies Hyakamaru back to the shrine and Mio takes care of him. The monk notes that her voice calms Hyakamaru. Despite still recovering, he decides to take on a demon. As Dororo comes to know this, he runs after Hyakamaru. He successfully kills the demon and his leg miraculously heals. However, upon returning, they discover that Mio has been fatally wounded and the orphans are being slaughtered by Daigo's troops, as they believe Mio is a spy for Sakai. Enraged, Hyakamaru goes on a killing spree. However, Dororo manages to calm him down and he lets a man go. Hyakkimaru embraces Mio's body and her name becomes his first spoken word. After burying everyone, the duo set out once again. Next, they stumble upon a female demon. Hyakkimaru attacks her, but she manages to escape. They arrive at a nearby village where men mysteriously disappear at night. Yahiro, a kind man from the village, discovers the ailing demon in the form of a beautiful woman and takes her home. He names her Ohagi. She, given the man's kindness, resists the urge to feed on Yahiro. One night, he decides to guide Ohagi out of the village. There they come across Hyakkimaru and Dororo on their way. As the duo prepare to attack her, Yahiro reveals he's the one helping the men escape. She has killed no one. The Lord's troops listen and try to capture Yahiro, but Ohagi defends him. She escapes with Yahiro, who takes her to a secret passage in the mountain. However, they are attacked again and Yahiro is wounded. Enraged at this, Ohagi starts killing the soldiers, but this attracts Hyakkimaru to her. However, Ohagi's concern for Yahiro causes her demon color to fade and Hyakkimaru lets her leave. A village is under the shadow of a demon. The locals are preparing a bride to appease the demon. Hyakkimaru and Dororo encounter Saru, a boy who attempts to thwart the sacrifice. He reveals that the bride is his sister. Hence, Hyakkimaru and Dororo agree to help Saru. However, the demon remains under a dark cloud and both appear red to Hyakkimaru, so he fails to locate and defeat it. Eventually, the demon consumes the bride. Dororo and Saru attempt to kill it by creating an explosion, but to no avail. Dororo jumps on the demon's head, allowing Hyakkimaru to locate his sound. Finally, in a team effort, they defeat the demon. The dark cloud vanishes and they all tumble into a spring. Saru is overjoyed to find his sister alive even after being swallowed and agrees to live with her. Meanwhile, Hyakkimaru regains his sense of smell. Sometime later, Dororo falls ill and Hyakkimaru takes him to a temple. In his delirium, Dororo recalls his past. His father was a farmer turned bandit leader, fighting the samurais. Itachi, his second in command, betrayed the group and killed most of them. Dororo's family managed to escape, but not before his father took severe damage to his leg. On their journey, they encountered a samurai burning down a village. Dororo's father engaged the samurai in battle, but the warrior proved too strong. Now alone, Dororo and his mother wandered in search of food, but his mother eventually died of starvation. In the present, the priestess treating Dororo reveals that he isn't a boy. Dororo is actually a girl. Meanwhile, Daigo learns of Hyakkimaru's existence. In the midst of a drought, Kagemitsu receives reports of the Asakura clan gathering on their border. He visits the temple and discovers that more demon statues have been destroyed. Kagemitsu's son Tahomaru discovers his father is searching for a baby and demands an answer from him, but it enrages Daigo. Later, accompanied by his bodyguards Mutsu and Hyogo, Tahomaru hears of the crab monster killing fishermen. They attack the creature, but it is too fierce and forces them to retreat. Tahomaru decides to construct a trap to lure the monster into a shallow channel where they can attack it together. During the battle, the monster almost devours Hyogo, but Hyakkimaru arrives at the last moment and slays it. Tahomaru tells this wandering duo the way to the land of Daigo, where they meet the monk investigating the Hall of Hell. At Fort Banmon, built on the site of a destroyed village and believed to be cursed by a demon, the duo meets Sukaroku. He wishes to cross to the Asakura side to rejoin his family. Meanwhile, Daigo discovers Hyakkimaru's presence and decides to kill him. Tahomaru hears this and later meets a woman who witnessed his brother's birth. Hyakkimaru battles a fox demon at the fort, while Sukaroku escapes with Dororo chasing him. They are captured by Asakura sentries. Kagemitsu leads a squadron to the fort and drives off the demons. Meanwhile, the monk reaches the Hall of Hell and reports a worsening situation. Kagemitsu orders his archers to attack Hyakkimaru, but he escapes. At Kagemitsu's compound, Tahomaru confronts his mother about his brother's fate. He learns about the deal his father made with demons to save their land. Hyakkimaru arrives there and Kagemitsu orders him to be killed. At Banmon, the Asakura begin killing prisoners, drawing the fox demons towards them. Kagemitsu and Tahomaru arrive with their army. Hyakkimaru and Dororo also reach Banmon to save Sukaroku. Taamaru attacks his brother, but Hyakamuru breaks his sword and slashes his eye. After which he also slays the fox demon. Nuenokata arrives and begs for Hyakamaru's forgiveness. The battle comes to an end. The fighters retreat and Tsukuroku is reunited with his mother.